Living Adaptive.
The goal is to adapt and thrive despite